morning everyone, welcome to Wednesday's free pre-market report. Again, we're snowed in here in the UK. Snow started to come down very heavily this morning and it's settling, and it's really thin light snow, but it's coming down continually at alarming volume now. So it looks like we're snowed in again. So it's time to do some reading, work, some trading. We had a good day yesterday in the live trading room. I'm just going to share with you a couple of setups that I like to use in the live trading room. I use myself. I'm going back to yesterday. One of the trades that I like to take is, first of all, I'm looking at the Globex session, but what I do is get a gap chart up, which is for TradeStation. The ticker symbol for the Dow Mini is at YM.D. So just to clarify what I'm looking at the YM, which is the Dow Mini Futures contract. Now you can see here I have my pivots up, 5-minute chart, nothing else, because these are purely pivot plays. Now we're looking at a gap chart. You can see here this is cash session, so 2:30 European time it will open, 2:30 London time, and 9:15 London time the market's closed. So here's Monday's close. Yesterday we gapped down. One of the plays I like to take is fade the first test of the gap down into the next nearest pivot, which was monthly R1, which is a strong pivot, and we took a nice bounce off of there. So really simple, nice trade to take, fading the gap down into the first pivot using the gap chart. Very, very nice trade. I'm putting my order about 2 points above the actual pivot level. So you can see the pivot levels at 10,537. So I'm putting it about 10,539, 10,540. Using a 20-point stop. I'm scaling out in thirds. Plus 10 my first profit target, plus 20 my second profit target. Last profit target is open. Normally I'll close it or tighten my stops as we reach the next pivot, which we did here. As we reach the next pivot, you can see here we got to try to push through, got a lot of resistance there, and then actually sold off in the end. Now another play that I like very much, and I'm going to go back to the Globex chart because I prefer them for the pivots, is, let's go back to yesterday, 12th, just confirm, there we are. Let's go back to 2:30 when we'd opened. Another trade I really like is, I like to take, once we've pushed through a pivot, then I like to get long. So I'll fade the first test of most pivots, first test of the day, but you can see we've already been through this, come back. So this is daily pivot, been through it earlier in the day. So later on in the day, final part of the day, as we move through, what am I looking for? What sort of level do I need the stock to move through? Well, I like it to move through, I like it to move up at least a quarter towards the next pivot. So we're looking at a small number, 568 for the daily pivot. Next pivot is R1, which is at 623. So that's about, what are we talking there? 32, about 50 points. So I'm looking for that to move about 12.5 points through that level. So 12.5 points from there gives us roughly about 10,560, which is round about, let me just stop this moving about, enable, disable, maintain at current range. So up to about 580 here. It wasn't that far yesterday, but let's just play it on what we can see. So once we've moved up to here, so we've moved from, you can see daily R1 to this line. Now I'm looking to get long, and I'll look to get long. We did it on this second candle here. You can see we get the pullback. I'm front running out by 2 or 3 points, so I get long at 10,560, 10,571, plus 10, plus 20. Very easy on that trade. We see we got the high of 610. When do I close the trade? I'm closing the trade when I see an 8 and 21 EMA cross, which we got here. So we crossed back down here, came back through, I'm out. So it's a nice trade. You get plus 10, plus 20, plus 10. Now you can, obviously, if you want to sort of sometimes make sure you lock in a bit of profit, as soon as you get a red candle form up here, it's another way of playing it. I just like to give them more room. It's a very personal way. Actually, when I'm trading in the room, I will I will make sure we lock in profits a bit more, because I know a lot of our members like that. So it's a really simple play, the pivot play. So you can also use these red candles as a way of getting out. But see, sometimes you're going to get faded out and it moves higher. Sometimes, you know, you see it again here, and then you're chopped about a bit. But it's really is a personal thing. But you know, it's a really nice, simple setup where I'm looking, if we get a gap at the opening, 2:30 or 9:30 Eastern time, I will fade the first test of the next nearest pivot, which yesterday was monthly R1, which is a very nice trade. Also, pivot plays I use is, I'm looking for the stock to have already been through the pivot, which it had yesterday, the daily pivot. And you can use any pivot for this. Looking for it to move through. I will fade the first test. Second test though, I'm looking for it to move through. I'm looking to move a quarter way up to the next pivot, which in this case was daily R1. When it has moved up to that level, which in this case was 12 ticks, I now put my bid order in 2 or 3 ticks above the pivot level I'm looking to buy at. And then I'm looking for plus 10, plus 20. At that point I bring my stop up to break even, and from there I'm looking for, if I have a free trade, and I'm just looking for an 8 and 21 EMA cross on a 5-minute chart or a red candle. Up to you. Some people like to use 2 red candles. It's a personal thing. Try different strategies, see what works best for you. Okay, that wraps up today's free daily pre-market report. Even though it's a pre-market report, people have asked me, can I show strategies that we use in a live trading room? Actually, while we're here, let's have a quick, we'll leave the pivots up. Let's have a quick look at daily chart for the S&Ps. Pivots are going to look, yeah, just great on that chart, but we look beyond that. You can see here we got a decent sell-off yesterday, just came back, but we held above the 8-day EMA. It's let a bit of pressure out. The overbought market, but still looking a bit overbought. We're just, as I said yesterday, a couple of levels. In fact, let's just, there we go. It's really hard to look at that. I don't know why I was trying to do that. You can see yesterday anyway, the levels I spoke about, the 8 EMA, decent place to buy, and then again we mentioned 1127, 1129 was a good place to buy. You've got a nice spike up, and you know, you're nicely in the money already, but it's still a little bit overbought, but not much else to do here unless you didn't buy yesterday. If you bought yesterday, fine, you're okay, you're in at the levels we suggested. And now, you know, it's really a matter of how you're going to manage it. I think we're due a bit of a deeper correction, a pullback at some point. So just be cautious. If you've got to fill, you know, 1127, 1129 yesterday, the levels I spoke about, then I'd be, you know, using a 5-point stop, and I'd be looking for plus 5, plus 10, stop to break even, try and hold the final third, see if we get a runner again. Okay, that wraps up. This does wrap up today's free newsletters. The snow is coming down like crazy now. Hope you're all safe. Be careful if you're driving. There's my weather report out of the way. Look forward to speaking with you again tomorrow. Till then, happy trading, everyone.